What is up, guys? Michael here from TYT YuGiOh, and I'm coming at you guys with a quick discussion because I am super procrastinating on my finals right now. That said, obviously, Palmer, John, and I are all in college, and we're going to be back from our final exams here in about the middle of May. So around that time, you can expect much more consistent uploaded content from us. But until then, like I said, I'm procrastinating, so I thought I'd give you guys my thoughts on a topic that I've been thinking about since the release of Maximum Crisis. There are a lot of expensive cards in Maximum Crisis, most notably Dragonic Diagram and Ghost Dash. The pre-order prices for those are like $300 for a play set of each. And that got me thinking about, buying expensive Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and namely buying Maximum Rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards. As you can tell by the title description, I'm here to talk to you guys about why I think it's correct, if you can, to always buy the Maximum Rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was watching a few videos on this topic, made several months or even years ago by some bigger YouTubers about this topic, and I realized that my thoughts about this were very different from the arguments that have been presented so far on YouTube, so I thought this would be a very useful video for you guys who still might not be convinced. Now, my argument is going to rest on two main assumptions. The first assumption is that you're not going to be playing your current deck forever, and the second assumption is you're not going to be playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh forever. Fairly strong assumptions for my argument, but I think they're pretty fair. I don't think that really anybody is planning to literally play the same deck until they literally just die. So with those assumptions in mind, let's get into the argument. So basically, it's a lot easier to sell high rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards or to trade high rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards than it is low rarity ones, because the high rarity ones are in much higher demand. Now, just anecdotally, I can tell you that these four cards right here, I've got a playset of Common Allures, and I do actually have a playset of Common Upstart Goblins. They have been sitting in my binder for months, and I've not been able to get rid of them. Nobody's ever made an offer on them or anything. Whereas, just anecdotally, again, these Ulti First Allures I've been using in my deck, and I've been playing with them. And last time I was at Locals, literally, when I was in the middle of a casual match with my friend, someone came up to me and made an offer on these and wanted to buy them from me. So just that little story kind of goes to show how a lot more people actually want the high rarity cards. Whether their thought process is the same as mine, or whether they're just looking to get blinged out cards, they just like things that are shiny, it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is that high rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards are a lot easier to sell or get rid of than low rarity ones. So, for example, for me, I'm currently playing a lot of dark decks like Zulkin Hero and Dark Lords and stuff like that, so that's why I picked up these Ulti First Allures to actually use in a lot of the decks that I'm playing right now. Now, I know that I'm not going to want to playing Dark Lords for the rest of my Yu-Gi-Oh career. I'm definitely going to want to change it up. Maybe I'll play the best deck in the format sometime, or maybe I'll pick up Mermails, who knows, right? But the point is, I'm not going to be using these Allures. So I'm going to want to trade them or sell them in order to pick up the deck that I want to play in the future, right? But you might be saying, oh, well, what if I'm just a really dedicated, Blackwing duelist or something, and I just want to use, these Common Allures, I'm not going to sell them, I'm not going to get a new deck for the rest of my life, ever. I'm always going to play Blackwings, so I'm just going to get these Common Allures, right? Well, that doesn't really make sense either, because like I said, you're not going to be in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh forever. Eventually, you're going to sell your collection, sell your decks, maybe you'll keep a few cards for, collector's sake, for the nostalgia or something like that. But for the most part, you are going to sell all your stuff. And, by the way, even if you're going to keep some of your nostalgic cards, just sort of keep around or just remind you of the good old days of Yu-Gi-Oh, wouldn't you want them to be max rarity anyway, maybe have some value to them? I know I would. But anyway, here's the thing. In my experience, when I've been trying to buy or sell a big quantity of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whether it's a deck core or like a whole binder or something like that, people do not pay for cards or trade value for cards at their full retail value. So to break it down a little bit, these Ulti First Allures go for about $60 a piece, and this Turbo Pack Upstart goes for like $30. So that's a total of $210 value for these left four. On the right side, these Common Allures are like $5s about, and this Upstart is like $3. So we have 18 here. If I was trying to sell like this whole deck core, right, or I was trying to sell my binder and these were in here, someone would probably look at me and say, oh, I'll give you $200 for these four, right? They'd cut $10 off, which is relatively small compared to the entire $210 value of the cards. Now, they would do that because they know that these high rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards are in more demand, and it's going to be a lot easier for them to turn around and sell them at full retail and make that $10 very quickly, Alright? However, these 4 cards over here, like I said, they're worth 18. I would probably only offer like 10 on these 4 if I was going to be buying a collection, or someone would probably only offer me 10 if they wanted to buy these from me and they're a part of my binder, right? That's because it's going to be a lot more difficult to get rid of these at their full retail value, and a lot more difficult to turn around a profit if they're trying to flip these cards. So that's why it's always better to buy your maximum rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They are always going to be a lot easier to get rid of and to get your money back on once you make the investment in the future. Again, I think this applies to basically every Yu-Gi-Oh player, because eventually you will either stop playing the deck that you're playing or stop playing the game altogether and want to sell all your cards at some point down the line. So hopefully this has shed a little bit of a unique light on this topic. Maybe I made some points that you hadn't heard before. And with that, this has been Michael from TYT YuGiOh signing off. I'll catch you guys next time.